On March 16, 1988, the government of Saddam Hussein committed the largest chemical attack against civilians in history. For 5 hours, military aircraft dropped chemical bombs on the city of Halabja in Iraqi Kurdistan. Almost 5,000 people lost their lives and some 7,000 to 10,000 more were injured. Nearly half the inhabitants of Halabja were exposed to toxic chemical agents. On March 26, 2014, Minister Falah Mustafa, head of the Kurdistan Regional Government, Department of Foreign Relations, was joined by members of Congress, the Iraqi ambassador to the United States, retired General James Jones, a former national security advisor, and American Friends of Kurdistan at an event marking the 26th anniversary of the chemical attack on Halabja.
Halabja was a lively and bustling town, and it was a thriving trade center. It was rich with cultural city where there were many active musical, theatrical, and dance performances. The reality of what happened in Halabja and to those Kurdish families, irrespective of age, affiliation, brings a chill of recognition to spines around the planet.
Congressman Chris Van Hollen explained how in 1988 he and a colleague, as professional staff persons working on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, documented Saddam Hussein's use of chemical weapons against the Kurds.
It's a lesson, I think, in how important it is for the United States and the international community to respond strongly and quickly to mass human rights violations, especially when they're coupled with the use of weapons of mass destruction, like poison gas and chemical weapons.
We are taking the steps to make certain that we, as Congress, recognize this campaign of genocide, and that in so doing, we honor you, and we honor the tenacity and the resilience of the Kurdish people.
Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn explained that more than 11,000 Kurds call Tennessee home. Her meeting with these constituents have been very rewarding.
We have the opportunity to, in these visits, to begin to appreciate not only what you have lived through, but to appreciate the hope and desire for freedom that you all possess.
Representatives Blackburn and Van Hollen are sponsors of House Resolution 422 that calls on the U.S. government to recognize the campaign of genocide against the Kurdish people in Iraq. The bipartisan resolution that has garnered support on Capitol Hill also reaffirms the commitment of the House of Representatives to the friendship between the U.S. and the Kurdish people.
House Resolution 422 recognizes Saddam's mass murder of the Kurds as genocide. As the Iraqi government representative to the United States, I urge the members of the House of Representatives to sign as co-sponsors. In fact, we have enacted our own counterpart to the House Resolution 422. In March 2011, the Iraqi parliament passed a resolution recognizing Saddam's operation against the Kurds in Halabja as an act of genocide.
During the commemoration, retired General James Jones spoke of one of his personal highlights in a long and decorated career in the service of the United States. In 1991, he was a lieutenant colonel during Operation Provide Comfort, the U.S. operation to defend Iraqi Kurds fleeing their homes in the aftermath of the First Gulf War and to deliver much-needed humanitarian aid.
I will tell you without any hesitation that this was one of the most satisfying military missions of my 40-year career for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was the right thing to do, and I was very proud that my country chose to do it. Secondly, I fell in love with the Kurdish people. We all did.
Minister Falah Mustafa thanked the U.S. for its involvement in the region.
Without the United States and its allies, we were not able to have it as a success story. Had it not been for the Operation Provide Comfort, had it not been for the safe haven that was established and the aerial protection that was provided, we would not have been able to challenge Saddam Hussein alone.
The KRG continues to express to the international community its concern for the continued use of chemical weapons against civilians. Never again is its message.
It was unfortunate last year we have seen the use of chemical gas in Syria. We were warning the international community. We, as victims of the usage of chemical gas, we knew what it means. Unfortunately, it went silent.
Today, Kurdistan is looking forward. Over 2,700 companies are active in Kurdistan. More than 50 companies work in the oil and gas sector. Kurdistan boasts a thriving economy and growth rate. All of the economic indicators of the region are on the rise.
Today we are leading Iraq by example because we are the safe, secure part of Iraq that provides opportunity for businesses to flourish, for civil society to be active, and for investment opportunities to be there. So we hope that the rest of Iraq becomes like Kurdistan, because a stable, secure, prosperous Iraq would have a positive impact on Kurdistan region.